Hey everybody, my name is MetalMusicMan!
And I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 68 of the Metal and Lex podcast.
I'm reasonably confident.
Pew, pew, pew. Yeah. And today we have a special guest for you. It's Steve! Hi, Steve.
Steve, do you have a handle?
How's it going? I'm kind of, but not also.
Alex and Steve have probably never met, so this will be very interesting to watch them.
He has a familiar face.
He does.
Yeah.
Your handle is Steve or Steve or Stife?
Steve?
Yes. It's mostly Steve, because I when handles started to like really be a thing, I was too old and I just felt like a douchebag giving myself my own nickname.
That's
like I
the
just
secret.
couldn't
You
do
have
it
to do
myself.
it when you're like 12 years old on CompuServe dial-up, and then it just sticks with you forever.
Like I never had a character named like Dragon Slayer Elite 12, and I just didn't stick with me.
You were Alt F4 for a little while in
I
Brawl.
was, but that was me in the tank for like 4 weeks before I joined
like,
Smash
what do I do?
Boards.
Oh, I gotta think of this obscure Windows shortcut. Honestly,
And,
I was like,
they gotta think I'm cool before I'm there.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, the Stife thing is we were at a tournament in Iowa where we would go. I think I've talked about Joker's Basement on this podcast a couple times.
You have.
Yeah, so Steve came up there and he's like, Will, I don't have a tech. I think it was the first time you had traveled, maybe? Is that right? I remember that right?
It's definitely the first time I traveled that far. That was like an 8-hour experience.
Yeah, we did the drive, and Joker's just got this shitty basement with fucking like 50 nerds in it playing.
Yeah,
matches,
like
so
30 dudes
and
shoulder to shoulder
like,
laying in a cement basement.
What do I sign up for? And I was like, just Stife. You are Stife. It was just a very French misspelling of Steve, and
very
that's ancient history. But no, he's just Steve. He's just Steve. But Steve, you play the fighting games. You play the WoW. You are gamer nerd man. You played Brawl.
Yes.
You are technically a Brawl OG. I know you, you might not want to say that about yourself, but yeah,
that's super weird.
Isn't that weird? But you were like there at the beginning when the laws were forged in stone.
Yes, it's a strange thing to think that I was like in a scene, even though like no one really knows me from that scene. Like people in St. Louis kind of know me, and like maybe the occasional out of state person would just know me because I was like in the older age, so I hung out with like the traveling pros who were a little bit older too.
Yeah, like like all me and Nicole and Jordan and everything. Like we all know you. Like maybe you weren't known to like the other non St. Louis folk. Right. But, like all of the OGs know Steve. Like everybody knows Steve. But yeah, it's just super weird like looking back sometimes on some of the old Brawl stuff. But I wasn't sure if Alex was aware of that, but that is how I met Steve. Alex. So he is Brawl OG. You played Rob first or Diddy first?
I did play Rob. I wanted to play Diddy first, but then I also didn't know how to play the game, so I was playing Rob while I was learning tech for Diddy. But also, I don't know if you ever knew about this, Will. The main reason why I came out was it was right before Street Fighter 4 was coming out, and I was like, I kind of want to really learn Street Fighter 4, but it hadn't come out yet. So I was like, maybe I'll just get into a scene. So I started Brawl is like the precursor competitive scene before Street Fighter.
That would not prepare you for St. Louis Street Fighter 4.
It did not.
Did you?
But also,
you went to like.
But also, I never really got into Street Fighter. I think I kind of got like mired within Brawl by the time Street Fighter actually came out.
It was hard because I think I played Street Fighter 4 a bit late. Like I didn't play it right when it came out because I was in Brawl. I think I am technically an 09er.
No, you were definitely playing it, but you weren't in the scene as much. Because like very slowly did more and more Street Fighter setups like get brought to the Tuesday night smashes at your place.
Yeah,
so like when it first came out, you would like have one setup. And you're like, man, I'm kind of digging this. And then like a couple months later, it was like the TV on the kitchen table, then like the monitor in your room, and then the big TV was like the only Smash setup with like David's mini TV.
Yeah, I remember learning that Street Fighter 4 as like a total Smash noob. And I don't know. Alex has been playing fighting games since he was like 2 years old, so I don't know. Know if you have a correlative story or not. But I remember all of us. It was like me, you, Seth, and Colby, and we're fucking around like taking turns in Street Fighter 4. And I remember,
Talton? You said Colby.
No, sorry, different
Okay.
Colby. Yeah, different Colby. Very different Colby. Colby with a K, not Colby with a C. But yeah, so different guy. But anyway, we were playing, and I remember like the game or the set and the exact time that I like discovered cross-ups. Like, I remember like I was doing kind of well for the most part. I had like played the game more than everyone else. Colby would like give me a run for my money, I think the most initially. He was playing just like Ryu or some shit. And I remember like I was playing Akuma and Abel at first. Because I didn't pick up E Honda until Kevin played E Honda, and I was like, that character looks easy as fuck. And then I played him and was like, I'm gonna play this fucking character. But that took a while. So anyway, it was Akuma and Abel, and I remember I picked Abel, and I literally just did like the first time I did jump medium kick into crouch medium punch into change of directions. I remember Steve just turning to me and being like, all right, it's gonna take some time for me to get used to this bullshit. like I literally all I did, like I just discovered you could jump over people and hit them in the back with jump medium kick, and it was just like I am winning all of the games and no one can block anything. And I wasn't even doing anything other than that. It was just like pretty much jump medium kick into crouch hard punch. But yeah, I remember that session really well. That was like one of the first times I like started to be like, man, Street Fighter 4 is kind of neat. Like.
But I had like a kind of a long storied history with fighting games, but like
I think you played them more than
the
me.
Most garbage sense possible.
Well, that
like
yeah.
I would just play all of these fighting games and just like learn the stupid easy training mode shit. Like throughout the years I've played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, CVS 2, like all the hits. But I was never part of any of those scenes, and I did become like aware of them. So I like knew of all of the bullshit Marvel versus Capcom 2 Infinites and things like that.
Yeah,
I just
knew weird lore and
couldn't
shit.
do them.
Yeah, you were like the historian initially.
Yeah, I was like a weird fighting game historian who like just spent all of my time watching weird VHS rips on YouTube of like stupid tournament matches from games that I could not play.
I think you might have told me how to do some inputs, if memory serves. Weren't you on
Yes.
stick? Weren't you on stick?
Yeah,
when we were all on pad?
because I had been playing for so long that like a lot of games almost only existed in the arcade at times. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I didn't have a Dreamcast, so like my friend did, so I played it with him a lot. But I would play a lot in the arcade. Like I played a lot of X-Men: Children of the Atom in the arcade.
Yeah. God, you're so old.
What arcade was it? The Tilt?
It was Tilt. It was also Aladdin's Castle in Jamestown Mall.
Oh, I went there once. That place was sick.
But there was a lot of Tilt. I played like CVS Chaos in Tilt, things like that. Just I knew all the inputs and I knew some combos, but I wasn't good.
Sure.
I think what carried me is that also like the fighting game scene wasn't that big, and I wasn't going to the right arcades.
You went to like the shittier local ones and like
so like and it was just because like I was a kid and I was like, Mom, can you drop me off at the mall? Like you go shopping and I'll hang out in the arcade for 4 hours until you come back. And I would just body like people more casual than me because I just knew how to do the easy stuff.
The circle of life.
Yeah,
always bodying someone more casual than you.
Yeah, it was just me doing like Berserker Barrage into Drill Claw on Wolverine and Children of the Atom for like 6 hours.
I remember watching those games like when I was at the arcades, and I didn't spend nearly as much time I think as you two did, but like I would be at the mall fucking around. I'd want to go to the arcade, but like my mom wouldn't give me any money, and I'd be like, I can only play like one game. And I remember
I'd get like $1. Yeah.
Oh god, it was the worst. Like you can't do anything with $1. Like what do I do with $1?
I was a scavenger. I was like always looking for like anytime a quarter was anywhere near me, I would jump on
it. Just dive on it like you're a soldier saving a platoon from a grenade or something.
I still have that. Like and like that's the sort of thing that people my age like converted from like arcade life to laundromat life.
Oh,
they're like, no, it's all quarters all day. I just need all of the quarters for everything.
How old are you? 37? 36?
36.
Yeah. So Alex is a baby. You're 30
I'm a
now?
tiny baby.
You're 30
I'm
now?
only 30.
So
yeah,
wait,
I'll be 31.
I know. Okay, so now what I find is interesting though is like you did play a lot in the arcades too, right, Alex?
Yeah.
So it's so weird though, because like I know 6 years isn't like that much, but I feel like in arcade time it is, because like for me,
I was young.
Yeah, well, and like, but they were also like you were lighting up when he was talking about Aladdin's Castle, and like I thought that would have been dead by the time, because it died pretty.
I didn't.
It did.
I didn't get to experience as much of it as I would have liked. I probably played more skee ball there than I did Marvel or whatever. But no, I do have memories of Aladdin's Castle.
Yeah, I think I only went to that like once or twice, but it was super big and it was way cooler than the Tilt, right? If memory serves. I thought
no, Tilt is the
Tilt was
better. Oh,
Aladdin's Castle was like a small mall in Florissant, and that was like 10 minutes away from me. And then Tilt is like 20 or 30, and that was like the basement of an entire mall.
Well, okay, so wait, I think we have two different Tilts then, because there was a Tilt at Mid Rivers, and it was way not that cool.
Oh yeah, I didn't go to Mid Rivers.
I wouldn't go to Mid Rivers on a dare.
Which Tilt are we talking about?
Northwest Plaza.
Yeah.
Oh, I never.
It's like it's kind of close to the airport.
That's right. You guys are all St. Louis, and I'm over here in shitty St. Charles.
Yeah, I mean, St. Charles is still
fun fact: Northwest Plaza, where Tilt used to be, is now like a government building. That's where you pay your taxes. It's like the tax revenue services for North County now.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I went to the Northwest Plaza one ever. I'm almost positive I went to Aladdin's Castle once or twice though. And then there was another one that was a weird arcade in what the hell is it? It was what's the 371 that's dead now? They built one there like super early.
The Mills.
Yeah, Mills. Mills had one. I remember going in, and I was like an old man at that point because it was whenever Mills was built. I mean, I don't know.
Mills had a small arcade, but the arcade that they did have was kind of shitty. But I know the Tekken 5 machine in front of the movie theater was big, because I remember seeing like Slips and Unconkable names on that one, which was like, oh shit. The St. Louis like area tech, like why would they come to this machine?
There's only so many Tekken cabs, and then like of them, only so many that are reliable. I remember, the Mills sort of shot up overnight when I was in high school.
Yeah, it was so big. Like they were
machines.
like, oh, new cool mall, and then it died in like 2 years or whatever.
Yeah, they didn't have
because it was also in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It really is a very odd location. Like, I don't know what they were thinking.
It was a stupid choice. They thought, no one's here, we'll make them come.
I think they thought they were going to develop more around it, and they were going to be like this hub of a bigger shopping center. And then no one went there because it's also kind of like in a weird floodplain area.
There's so much of that in Missouri. But I mean, to be fair, I guess they did that exact thing in Chesterfield. Chesterfield Valley is that, and for some reason people go in their shops. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this segues into our first pseudo topic pretty well, which is being caught in the casual versus competitive purgatory, and Steve is basically that .jpeg.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So if I can make a guess, you're filled with the forbidden knowledge of what lies beneath, but you're trapped above it. You're looking down through the eyes.
So
no, that's exactly it. And I think, honestly, I think I'm a little too old and a little too secluded of it, because like the Midwest is like one of those bad areas.
You're not too old.
And hold on, let me get there.
All
like when if I had learned about good competitive scenes, like when I was. Yeah, like when I was just starting high school, it probably would have changed a lot of things. But like I wasn't part of any of the scenes. It was just me and my friends who were like kind of okay. And then like if all the hours I put in that I have put in like my junior high and high school career, if that had been like focused stuff, I would be significantly better than I am now. But it was just me doing the stupidest shit. And
dude, I'm gonna say I agree with all of that. But also, that is exactly my experience, and I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, you roughed through it.
Well, I mean, I remember.
You turned out to be a wizard.
Oh, I'm not that much of a wizard. Be quiet.
No, but also, you also have a different personality than me. You have a very like outgoing personality, and so like when you fight through that, it happened. Like you just have a much better mentality of going through that. And I was like I said earlier, going to places and like getting matches against people who are good or people who would help me. Like I'm like almost afraid of that. Like I can't tell you how many times I went to like the
I do have to push
barcade
you into
with
the
you.
deep end. I have to push you into the deep end of the pool and be like,
right. Like when I just go to the barcade with you, like if you're not standing next to me, being like, Steve, play that guy. I'm just like standing in the corner, like watching people do stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know exactly what he's doing. It's really good. I cannot do that.
So that's okay. Now wait a minute. That's though, but that's the part that I think is the most important. And so like I do. Okay, I want to say I agree with everything you said about like when you get like involved. And I think getting involved younger is such a huge advantage. I mean, I remember like just wanting to play. What was that?
I had that.
You had that advantage. Yeah, well, because your dad beat you up. We did that podcast.
Yeah, you beat me up. Eternal champions.
He kept viration.
Eternal champions.
I have a fantastic because like I said, I was good at like people who are worse than me. I have a vivid experience of me and my friend playing Eternal Champions on his Genesis, but he only had one controller. So I was using a Sega Master System controller with the two buttons. So like the one button was start, the other button cycled through every button. So I had to like be like 1, 2, 3, we're back to punches. 1, 2, 3, we're now on kicks. So like I had to like plan my moves in accordance with where I was at in the cycle of what button I was allowed to use.
People had such shitty controllers as kids. Like you're fucking here, you're my guest. I will give you the fucking shittiest, most garbage controller of all time.
You can't press any buttons.
Oh man,
you may only walk to the right.
I always like specifically saved up like birthday money or whatever to get like 2 decent controllers because I wanted people to play against me, and like like it sucks if they can't have a good controller. But anyway,
I apologize. Carry on.
No, you're good.
All we do is interject in this podcast. By we, I mostly mean me. But the so anyway, I think getting in young is super important, and I always really regretted that because, and we've talked about it a bit on this podcast already, but like I didn't really get into anything until Melee, and I didn't get into Melee till I was like 24. And I remember just like the first thought as soon as I started playing was like, holy shit, if I had known about this when I was 15, I would be a fucking god already. So like I do think that's real, but I think like as far as like, I don't think you have to have that. I think it's a huge advantage and it's good, but like it doesn't mean you can't know it or understand it. And that thing that that you touched on just a minute ago that I wanted to like really focus in on is the difference between knowing how to do something and actually being able to do that thing. And I think they're like very different and equally important skill sets that a lot of people don't they don't respect one or the other, I guess. And so I remember like I'll shit on Kevin a little bit because he's helpless and isn't on the podcast right now.
He's not here to defend himself.
I know like so Kevin would play Brawl all the time, and Kevin, one of the things Kevin liked about Brawl is like there's like almost no tech skill barrier to Brawl. It's like very, very light, like very, very, very probably the easiest game ever to pick up and play in terms of like what you do or don't have to do. And there's a couple things that are kind of hard. Like I remember I taught him how to do dash sliding a snake, and he could do that and he figured it out, and that's fine. But like for the most part you don't have to figure anything out, and so that's like the perfect way he wants to play games. And I really relate to Kevin in that way because the difference is I just like them more and put like more work in, but I have the same general mindset, which is that I don't want to learn a weird thing. I want to do.
You just want to play the game.
I want to do the simple thing, and I
just want to do the thing.
And I want to, and I want to like, have those interactions with my opponent, and I want to like, shit on their face, but not like in some weird esoteric way. I want to immediately be doing that. And so I will say that again, when every time we have this conversation, Steve, you're always just like, Will, you're good at a thing. You do a blah, blah, blah. You're different. And like, yeah, we have different personalities, but like, I think I'm way more similar to you in that regard than you might expect, because Alex can attest to how many times I will just look at a game and be like, nah, I'm not gonna play that game.
There's like 6 buttons. I don't know, man.
I'm not gonna play that fucking game. I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah.
So like you have to, but like you do have to like double down at a certain point. And so I guess I decided, for me, if I can align kind of where I was at to what you were saying about that, is like I decided at some point, in Street Fighter 4 that I was going to like bite down and learn Oni, and it was awful. I hated it. I mean, I loved it, but I also hated it. I mean, because so we touched briefly before, but like, yeah, I played Kevin one day and he was playing E Honda and doing the dumbest shit. He was just doing like stop signs and staying roundhouse. That was like all he fucking did. And then I remember I found out Oicho throw was a crazy mix-up move, and Kevin like never used it, and I was like, I could literally just mimic Kevin but then also Oicho throw people. This is the best character I've ever seen. And anyway, then I shit on Mr. K and Guilty and everybody at a tournament randomly, and everyone got mad at me, except Karasa, who was Big Daddy Karasa and stuck up for me. Were you there that day, Steve? I think you were. Were you at that
possible.
one? I think
I was in like the weirdest like
it might have literally been like you, me, Kevin, and my ex. I think that
my entire life is almost revisionist history, where people are like, I think Steve was there, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe you've told me enough about it that for some reason I like remember everything.
It feels like you were.
Isn't Steve always with us? Isn't that the case?
Maybe that's why I thought I knew him.
That's very accurate. Yeah,
I'm just always a Force ghost, like looming in the background, and like something happens and you turn, I'm like, yep, good job, thumbs up, everybody.
So accurate. But anyway, to put a cap on that, like I went through that with Oni and it almost broke me. I mean, I was just like screaming in a vacuum in my room, just yelling at my monitor because I'm like, you didn't fucking Dragon Punch, you piece of shit. You could have fucking Dragon Punch. And like it took a lot for me to like work through that, because even though Oni's not a particularly difficult character, he's not E Honda. He's not like a simple ass charge character with, hands aside, as we all know. But he's not like a simple charge character that just like hits buttons or whatever. Like you do have to like kind of do input sequences. And so I don't know. I think I'm probably pretty good at putting myself in that mindset. And I feel like I've gotten really close to getting you into that at various times over the years. I remember there was the Brawl Diddy switch, where you were like starting to do some things, and there was like a couple tournaments where you were like, you got like some upsets or beat some people. I was like, Steve, what's going on? And then like you would beat like Nicole or someone who you like almost never beat ever.
I did beat Jordan, and it wasn't a full beat, but I took a game off of Jordan's Ice Climbers.
Yeah,
one time, and I was super happy with myself.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. And so like I remember you doing some shit like that, and then it would be like the next game you'd fight someone way worse. Like I'm not even gonna name any names.
I had this weird, almost like
Steve.
reciprocal like skill level where
Same.
I
play to your opponent's skill level.
Yeah, like it's almost
way.
like I'm always just below the person that I'm playing. So like I'll play a good player and I'll take them to like third stock, and like they'll beat me in like good games, man. And then I think I can't remember who it was, but it was when we were in Ohio one time where I took a pretty good player to last game, and then like later he was like, oh man, so you get out of pools? And I was like, oh no, I didn't. He's like, how? You were easily the best person I played in our pool. Like, how did you not beat those other people?
That's so your entire experience though. Like, yeah. And so I don't know, for me, like I do have to consciously check myself, and I think you do that less than either of us do. Do you agree, Alex? Like as far as playing down, or do you think you don't? I feel like you just do your game plan more.
Yeah. And usually, I mean, if I'm taking a critical look at my tournament experience, I do the thing, and if it works, then I'm gonna make it out of pools, and if it doesn't, then I don't. I know that sounds simple, but like I'm mostly agnostic to the players that I'm up against.
I agree. That's why I hate you. So like the way it's like the Charlotta Grand Blue versus shit you do or whatever. Like that's why it's so frustrating. Is like you're ultimately barely interacting with me. Like I could be in the corner taking a dump, and you would still be like, I'm gonna do these things anyway. And then you get that stupid smug laugh going when it works, because you know that it's frustrating the shit out of me. So yeah, but like no, I do the same thing that what you're saying, Steve. Like I definitely do that, and I think I probably did the best at dealing with it in the Street Fighter 4 era, because with Brawl, when I was really good at Brawl and like when I was the best in St. Louis for however long it was, I don't know, fucking 6 or 8 months or something, I basically was just edge guarding the shit out of people, doing whatever the fuck I want with Meta Knight, or just triaging them with DDD. And it didn't really matter that I was playing down, because I would just get like the weird gimps or whatever and it would work out. But it's a lot harder in a game that's more rigid like Street Fighter to not kind of fuck yourself if you are playing to a lower skilled opponent's level. So like I remember playing like above average Tim at the bar, and he would just do like stupid Dan kick shit. And dude, like shout outs to above average Tim. Like I feel like I always gave him a lot more respect than most people. That dude, I think he only beat me one time in the entirety of ever. He beat me one time. I fucking hated playing him in bracket. I felt like I was almost going to lose every single fucking time I played him, he would do like some Dan kick shit. And like, I feel like there were at least 3 or 4 times where I was like chip pixel away from death and like somehow managed to fucking kill him because of exactly what we were talking about. We're like, and he's not a bad player. I think he got like way more shit than he deserved in terms of like, but he was kind of like you, Steve. He's like a good, like he understands the competitive stuff, but he's like a little bit more casual, but he can like do some good shit and people will be like, he's not good because he always goes like 0-2, but it's like, he
was making his life harder by playing Dan.
He can do some things.
Also something to be said.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, if he played like Ryu instead of Dan, I think he would have gone from being like, the worst player, free buy or whatever, to being like a solid mid player.
He beat me when Ultra came out with Poison.
With who?
With Poison. He was playing Poison. And it was he beat me in bracket, dude. And honestly, I fucking like popped off for him. I was pissed, but I was also just like, I mean, dude, it was the most above average Tim win of all time. He literally just did EX flip over kick into like DP or backdash. And I was just like, like I hate you. Like you're not even doing anything.
This isn't real.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. But like, so anyway, point being, I think playing down to your opponent's level is, I think, a problem, but also not the worst thing ever. Like, I feel like I've kind of learned to deal with it a little bit better, where you've got to look at like how dumb and random your opponent is, and you've got to play down to their level to the point where like, hang on, here's a better way to say this. I have found less success versus particularly crazy opponents by trying to just fundamentally beat them. It depends, but I feel like if you look at someone
because the rules are different.
Yeah, if you look at like someone like Mr. K or Truth God, like historically from the Street Fighter 4 era, they will definitely beat scrubs with fundies. And I have out-footsied some scrubs, absolutely. If they do like just constant jump in, I will just anti-air the shit out of them. I have no problem with that. But if they have like a weird, grounded, non-jump in approach option,
headbutt, say for example,
or hands. Some scissors, like that shit will fuck me up. And I feel like I have to get a little like schmixy because just beating that with pure footsies is super difficult. So I guess my point is it's like a gradient, like it is a problem and it can suck, but like you can also use it to your advantage if you just know. It's like knowing when to turn it on and off.
But I also have a problem of like outplaying myself, and not to say that like the people that have beaten me wouldn't have beaten me, but I've done the thing where like I'll do an option and get punished for it, but then I'll like he won't expect me to do that option again, so I do it. But I'm not a known enough entity that I would have to prove that I'm not willing to do that first before they would make me.
You're going to the next level of Yomi before it's actually necessary.
Exactly. So like I'm playing against a good person and they think I'm a scrub, so I like do like wake up Shoryuken, and they just block it and punish me. And then I'm like, they're not going to expect the second one, but they're like, well, that's what he did last time. I'm going to cover that option right now. And then I do it again, and they fuck it. Yeah, and they just do it again. And I'm like, he's not going to expect it the third time.
Dude, I mean, there are times where like I've had whole rounds where all I do is Shoryuken every single time, and I give the round away just to make sure that the next round
put the fear of God.
So I mean there is.
Yeah, but see, my problem is this next round. I'm like, he's not expecting number 4.
I really think it is just like a simple fact of like it's like the alignment of your thoughts. Like all of your thoughts are good, accurate thoughts to have.
Like I put my mindset in the wrong section of my timeline.
You're like a little head or a little like it really is like a fine tuning though, and like I don't know. There's an art form to that. I would say.
If I can guess, that's probably a twofold problem. You aren't a known quantity probably by not having played enough people. Yeah. And then like if most of your experience then is like casual players, you don't get to play at that elevated level. You're usually playing to the level of the people that you're playing with. Not that you wouldn't be able to excel if you were up top, just that if you aren't playing, then you aren't.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not playing the caliber opponent that requires me to adapt on the fly.
But you would then adapt on the fly if you were playing those people all the time.
See, that's why you just gotta play more. You just gotta play the video game at the end of the day. Okay. Yeah, we gotta find
play Street Fighter.
Throw Steve into the deep end. It's just a button that just like picks Steve up. I'm gonna build like a crane that somehow comes from
crane machine.
Somehow it's off camera in real life. I don't know how, and it just picks you up, and you're like a You're like one of those dead swinging teddy bears, like flying around.
Yeah.
It just plops you down next to an opponent, puts an arcade stick in your hands.
Crane games than I do.
But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like there's other games too, like you could look at even beyond fighting games that I think that's just kind of always where you're at, and it is my lifelong goal to try and just push Steve a little bit.
Which is
Steve's
which
been
is
getting
why
pretty good at WoW recently. He's made some pretty big strides in the World of Warcraft very recently. I have to say.
And I think part of that's why I kind of like card game, because I'm a card game player as well, and I think a big part of that is like my knowledge. It's like pure knowledge is at a better premium in that format.
It doesn't test tech skill at all. It doesn't test anything.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about like my opponent. I can just be like, okay, well, based on my encyclopedic knowledge of what their deck should contain, I know I have to look out for these things, and what do I have to play around, and what how do I get the best chances of winning on my next draw?
So wait, do you feel positively, negatively, both confused about games that test like the tech skill? Because I know you do like enjoy fighting games, but like I'm curious if like when you play card games, is that just better or like?
No, I just think like without having to perform tech skill in a like high pressure anxiety situation, like it just makes it easier for me because I can like. Because it's like training mode every time, because like I can set up my shot, I can calm down, I can like think through and then do my combo against a dummy. But like in a card game, like they just tee it up for you. Like at no point is
you don't get fight or flight.
Do I have to like
you don't get fight or flight, and that's like a core part to any real time game or fighting game is like you have to deal with the fight or flight aspect of your own psyche. And apply. So, I mean, I think it is much more difficult and stressful, 100%. But yeah, I guess I was curious, like, I mean, I think there's still an amount of that element in WoW. Like, WoW is obviously so much easier from a technical.
Oh, definitely. No, and WoW, I get that because, especially with like weird mechanic stuff, mostly it's like if I was just doing the dungeon, I think I would be fine. But like, it's when the affixes are in and like it's the random affixes, that's the stuff that like really makes me anxious. And that's why I've been liking Frost Mage, because I'm not as stationary as Fire Mage. So I can like run around. I can just run around ice.
You just ice lance.
I can just run around ice lancing while I deal with
Frost
stuff.
Mage is probably the E Honda or M Bison of WoW DPS class. Like they have an instant cast move that does like you always have like damage spreads in WoW, and so like a really absurd damage spread, just as an example, is like Windwalker Monk or Ret Paladin. When you do a dungeon, something like 30 to 40% of your damage is this one move. Each of them have this one area of effect move, and like 30 to 40% of their damage is that move. And you look at their damage breakdown and you're just like, man, that's crazy. That I can't believe so much of your damage is one move. And then Frost Mage, 60% of their damage is one move. So it's like literally like, I mean, and you have to do a lot of other things, and I guess you do this better than me, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like I know you're like setting things up to get Ice Lance to like proc or do crits or do more damage, but then at the end of the day, it is just a lot of Ice Lance over and over and over again.
It's like once it gets going, it's pretty easy, but there like I have a move that just like puts the Ice Lance in the crit mode for like a good 10 or 15 seconds. So I'm like literally like I cast Frozen Orb, and then it's just like spam Ice Lance continuously for the next 15 seconds with maybe one other move in there when you don't have a proc. It's like super
you actually
easy to
do like 15 Ice Lances in a row. That's like part of your rotation. Like you just or 10 or something.
I would say I can get to like 7 or 8 in a row.
Because global cooldown's like 2 seconds actually. So that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. That's wild, dude. That's so crazy.
And then when I get like resets, it's just like, oh man, we're doing this for days.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something to be said about, and I think we all could have this in common, even though Lex, I do think, plays more differently than I do overall. Like, I do think you generally, I mean, you'll play like super complicated characters in some games, but at least in the more traditional fighting games I played with you, you always have like the Blanca archetype. I mean, that's and Blanca's
another problem.
Blanca's pretty simple. But like, I think if you play like the simple character, you're more likely to have less of your mental stack be focused on the playing and the other thing. Your problem is Blanca's? What?
No. My problem is that I should be playing E Honda, but I want to play El Fuerte.
Yes, that is a thing.
Like I'm out here picking the most complicated character and then also trying to learn the game. And I'm just like I'm stacking problems on myself.
I trying to teach you like Wario because I was like, Steve, just nair and fart. It'll be the best thing ever.
And I'm terrible at Wario, but currently in Ultimate, I'm terrible at Wario. But I'm actually doing pretty good with Link nowadays.
Dude, Link is so good in
Link
Ultimate.
Is cool.
Yeah,
he's so fucking good. He's so simple and like he just kills you.
He's simple, but I get to have my unreasonable tech with
bomb drop shit.
With Z-drop.
Yeah.
So like that's how I occupy my life.
That is actually a very good merging. You're right. Yeah, because he is really simple, but he has like a very obscure tech skill barrier if you want it, but don't have to.
I need that sort of thing to keep me engaged.
Yeah, but like in sorry.
No, you're good. I said I need that sort of thing to keep me engaged. Some sort of a tech skill thing.
A carrot on a stick.
If it's all fundamentals, I'll fall asleep.
Well, I always feel like I want to have this weird, bizarre tech thing because one kind of explodes out your options and kind of gives you that aspect to it. So like if I do ever get good, I'll have that way to kind of screw around with people. But also I don't know, I just am gravitated towards like weird, complicated characters because I like them and I think they're fun, but my actual mentality and play style is more suited for a simple character to just like go over there and kill them.
At the end of the day, whatever character keeps you most engaged in playing the game is the character.
I'll drink to that. Yeah.
So like even if you would be better suited playing Mario or Wolf and doing fundamentals things, it's okay if you want to play Bayonetta, is what I'm trying to say.
No, it's not. It's never okay. Friends, don't let friends play Bayonetta.
But what always invariably happens is like I'll be trying to play this complicated character and I'll be playing with Will and then he'll be like, Steve, why don't you try this character? And I'm like, fine, I'll try this character. And I'll play the character and I'll do like pretty well because like there's just not like this weird BS mini game for me to occupy myself with in the corner.
Wait, hold on. I feel so called out.
This is my function. This is what I do for people.
Yeah. But I'll do kind of well, and then Will get like irrationally angry and be like, Steve, do you understand how much better you'd be doing if you just started here and were focused on making this better?
Have you given A2 the same conversation? Did you do this to him too?
I wouldn't do this
just
to
collect us?
A2's different. A2 it cannot be helped.
No, he said he just wants to play Gordo minigame.
Yes.
He used the same word Steve used.
Yes, he does. No, but he can't. There's no way A2 can be helped. He's too far gone. He's farther gone.
I'm over here trying to learn Zato 1 and Strive as like my first character.
Why?
Because I hate myself.
Dude, I played Strive like 2 or 3 times, and it's fine. I don't love it, but I just play Soul. Yeah, honestly, I like it a lot more than I expected to like it, which is to say I really don't particularly like it, but I expected...
But it didn't make you froth,
Yeah, I expected to fucking hate it and just be like, fuck this, and there are things I definitely don't like, but I don't mind sitting down playing it for an hour or two with somebody if they want. I mean, I've only played it like 2 or 3 times, but like, Soul is Soul. He's Gran, he's Ryu on crack and just is absurdly overtuned. But even if he wasn't, he's fine as an analog. And then weird giant blade sword Nagori Yuki or whatever. Yeah, that guy's pretty cool. So there's some cool stuff in it. Who'd you say you were playing, Steve?
I want to play May to hit people.
I'm playing Zato, the puppet character.
Oh my god, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know enough about gear. I think that's probably the hardest, most complicated character that you can play in the game.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, you can make a weird chip argument, but I wouldn't. Zato's got a puppet.
Oh yeah, I've heard Chip is pretty crazy. Wait a minute, I just had a thought. So in Smash Ultimate, Steve, how much time have you put into Rob?
So the first tournament I went to with my friend, I played Rob, and he was like I played like all of my sets, and I did okay. I think I went like 2-2 or something, and my friend was like, Steve, why aren't you using side B? and I was just in my brawl. I was like, that move is you can punish it on hit. Like that move
Snipe
is
the worst move in the game. And then your friend's like, no man, it kills at like 32 on the ledge. And you're just like, fucking what? Yeah. Dude, Rob is busted in Ultimate. So that's why I was curious, because he's finally, I mean, he wasn't bad in Brawl. He was like high C, low
good.
B. He was solid. But like he is dumb as fuck in Ultimate, and he's so easy, and he has like the weird Z-drop bullshit that you can do, like Link does.
Yes.
So
I've played him a little bit, but I definitely having played them. I like Link more now.
Okay. Well, and I think it's hard to, depending on the game, like to play a character that you played in a previous iteration. It's easier for
That's
some.
why I can't play Diddy.
Yeah.
I can't play Diddy in Ultimate at all.
Really? It's just too weird. I think some are not so bad. Like Kirby, I can still play fine in Ultimate. He's a little bit different. Like Marth feels a lot like Brawl Marth. That doesn't bother me, or Lucina, whatever you want to say. But like, yeah, on the flip side, like if they ever put Twilight Princess Ganon back into Smash, I will no longer play Ganondorf, because fuck Twilight Princess Ganon. Like he's the same, but he's like different enough that I just don't want to fuck with him. So I get that.
I'm more of a Wind Waker fan, yeah.
But like while I do like Rob, I have fallen in love with like Boomerang and its ability to like aim it and then use its return to cover approach.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's where my life is right now.
Oh yeah. Link Boomerang is so versatile, dude. It's crazy good. I've always liked Melee Link best. Just because of the way his like short hop into Boomerang feels, like just the way the frame data feels and the bounce back. But like Ultimate Link is pretty close to Melee Link, and I think if he had normal bombs, I would love him. But
I actually really like the remote bombs.
You guys gush to each other.
I can't tell you how many times I've dropped just a bomb on the ground and then just jab comboed.
Yeah.
And like they fall at the exact same rate as the bomb and just like blow them up and then like jump forward air them. Like it feels so good.
Yeah. Well, and it's pretty easy to do like Z drop, nair, catch, throw, re-nair, catch. Yeah. Like I was surprised. I started playing him. I guess it was over just the period of COVID. I was playing like with Alex quite a bit, and I would just play random characters, which I hadn't done in Ultimate. I had not like fucked around with the cast very much. And I remember like the first day I played 2 or 3 games as Link, and I was like, oh, this Z-drop shit is actually really fucking easy. Like there are hard parts, right? Like there's definitely actual hard, difficult parts, but like just doing like Z-drop, nair, throw, nair, it just sort of like automatically happens. Like it just picks up the bomb because you're nairing, and I was like, oh, okay. I thought that was gonna be like some super difficult shit, but it's just sort of automated. But yeah, no, that's cool. Link's super neat. I think that makes sense for you. I could see you fucking around with Link. Yeah, because he's super well rounded too, is what's important.
And like the big thing that kind of pushed me to him from Young Link, because I was like trying to go with Young Link, but I'm so bad with killing that I need just the raw power of Link to like keep my opponents from living to like 8 billion, because because I'll just spend all my entire day just like throwing projectiles and getting them up and still not converting.
I think the only character I've ever played who was not at least pretty good at killing, if not overtly just a kill powerhouse, is Brawl Falco. That's like the only time I've ever played. Brawl Falco is pretty bad at killing. Like, I mean, everyone's bad at killing in Brawl, but like, I mean, he had some stuff, but I generally tend to gravitate to that as well, because like I don't want to. I don't know. You get like all the cool combos, but then you can't fucking finish anybody off. I'd way rather.
That was also my big problem with Diddy. Like I was okay with Diddy in Brawl, but I was just really bad. Yeah. I was just really bad at converting because I wasn't quite up to snuff on banana stuff. So I would always end up and then like a little too far away for me to confidently go for like a forward smash or down smash for a kill. So I'd always invariably end up like dash attacking into Spike to trying to kill everybody.
But that's cool.
Have you seen Tweak play Diddy in Ultimate, by the way? Because that shit is
horrifying.
Fucking wild, dude. His Spike is so strong. He has so many. He does like actual hit confirm setups, which is super analogous to like Street Fighter 4 hit confirms, but he's doing it with like banana dash attack into like up smash and shit. And like, I don't know. That's definitely some of the best shit I've watched personally in Ultimate. I feel Ultimate's such a great game, but I think it's not as good of a spectator game as it could be. And that's like the worst thing about Ultimate is like it honestly is it's not bad to watch, but I feel like even Brawl was overall a better spectator game in my opinion, just because there were more interactions that felt deliberate. Whereas I feel like even at high levels, Ultimate can feel a little rando. Like they just kind of do a move and it kills.
Things happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and it's not bad. I mean, I don't want to like shit on it too hard because I do enjoy watching it, but like it's one of the worser Smash games as far as like spectating it goes. Like I feel like Smash 4 is obviously the worst. I can't imagine anyone enjoying watching that game. It's fucking unfathomable. But
I liked it.
Yeah, get out.
I thought Bayo was cool.
God, you're the
ladder combos.
Worst.
Yeah. You remember the Evo finals? It was like Salem and somebody, and everyone was booing, and they were just doing ladder combos. That was great for me. I loved that.
That was Captain. What about Captain Zach and Rishi? Is the one you're talking about? Where they stalled?
Was it? Yeah.
Where they stalled and almost got like banned because they just sat there like fucking.
Loved it.
What about the year Brawl was at Evo and it had items? And
oh my god! Yeah, Ken lost to the random kid who played Rob because Rob's final smash was absurd. He just like had a permanently active
people and would misfire.
Permanently active hitbox or something in front of him, wasn't it? It was just like doing this.
Yeah,
it's a big laser beam. Yeah,
it's a permanently active hitbox that if you grab, it doesn't break. But also when it misfires, it auto releases and just auto kills. So all you do is when you have his final smash is like try and grab.
You just run around and grab. That's so stupid. God, what a fucking abomination that was.
Which was easy because the active hitbox set them up for it.
Well, yeah, because you can combo into grabs so easily.
Yep.
And oh, hey, there's a random question for you two scholars of ye olden fighting games. What do you think or maybe there isn't, is there or not, a game where grabs are somewhat similar to Smash in a more like traditional fighting game, where you're like comboing into grabs more frequently, comboing out of grabs and into grabs? Are there any fighting games that are like that? Or is it just Smash?
So BlazBlue has a system in place where you can combo into a grab, where if they're standing, you can grab them, but it gives them a tech window, and the tech window is longer if you're doing it mid combo. So it's like a neat little mind game. Aside from that, anti-air grabs are a thing in Sailor Moon S, which I think is interesting and weird. Yeah, because you can like block a cross up and then special cancel your block into a command grab and throw people. So it's like illegal to jump at people who have command grabs.
That's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a weird game, and it's bad by a lot of metrics, but it's internally consistent, and to that end, good.
I prefer that over other things. I probably wouldn't even like it, but I could respect that they
exactly.
have like a vision. That's actually my main problem with fucking Strive, while we're on that topic, is like I feel like there isn't a lot of consistency. It's like, oh, you can cancel slash into hard slash, and is it kick into jab or jab into there's like one or jab
reverse.
That's actually the thing that
doesn't make any sense to me. There's no like consistency whatsoever. I'm like, what? Yeah, how did they decide how you could or couldn't cancel? Like I cannot, because for me, I have to be able to logically be like,
internalize
B, C. Like it has to like have like a thing that makes sense. And just looking at, I understand that I can cancel slash into hard slash and also slash into slash for reasons. Well, I understand, but it's hard for me to like
into forward slash.
Yeah, it's hard for me to like, but it's hard for me to make sense of it if it doesn't all have like a larger connective tissue. You know, like
if you
like
can't see it.
It was very easy for me to understand the chain system in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, for instance, because it was always you just go up. You can go up to a punch or a kick, but anytime you go up, you can chain. And then the last thing to go up is the launch. And I was like, yeah, that's like logically consistent. But like Strive, I would love for someone to say like, just put down like 4 lines of text that make Strive's chain or lack
you want a mnemonic
make sense. And I
think the problem is that like part of Strive is the feel of every character. So like it's really just based on whether or not the designers thought that character would be fast enough to do the thing that you want to do.
Yeah, well, right. No, but I think that makes sense. It's basically like there isn't a unifying core system. Yeah. Like as much. I mean, there is stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like obviously they have like Roman cancels and all that. Like there are things. I'm not saying there's none of that, but there's I think a lot less of that in Guilty Gear and games like it, where each character has more of its own rules and less of like a specific system set of rules than a game like Street Fighter does. And I always struggle with that because it's difficult for me to like picture it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need it.
Boy, howdy. I have a game for you coming up to your house near you. September 30th, Melty Blood. Type Lumina.
We're going to play Melty Blood for an entire evening. I'm going to hate every second of it, but I'm going to do it for Alex. It's like, you know, it's that thing. It's like, you know, once a year for my birthday, Alex gets me to, or for his birthday, Alex gets me to play. It's like I'm making a butt sex allegory, right? If you're white Becky, and you just get fucked in the ass once a year,
and you do it because it's your job.
You do it for your boyfriend's birthday, and you sure hope he likes it. That's my relationship with Alex and Melty Blood.
You know.
Anyway, yeah, we're coming up on about an hour, so I don't know if you guys have any things to finish up for, but I think we've had some podcasty here.
Do you want to be more competitive, or are you happy at where you are at?
I actually do want to be more competitive. I think a big problem is like right when I was kind of getting in a better mindset, like a lot of like life stuff and things happened, and then I wasn't able to like really get into it. But I would like to do it. I think as Will has stated, like with my World of Warcraft playing, I'm not saying I'm competitive or anything like that, but I'm getting more reasonable. Like I'm trying to like go for like the higher end.
I think you've made bigger strides in WoW since switching to Frost than you've ever made in a fighting game. Like I think that's a larger jump, but I think you've been so close. You've been like
but I also
like about to come so many times in different fighting games, and then you just like stop and walk away.
And I was gonna say I don't think it's, and I think the problem is that like it takes me so long to get my head right sometimes in fighting games that like as I'm about to like really crack it, just something else happens and and like something else gets in the way. And then I kind of have to restart that mentality when I come to the game again. And then it's also like
that's real. That's a thing.
And then like so when I kind of get my head back right and I come back, it discourages me a little bit more because like I see where I'm at in comparison again. And that's a little discouraging, and you know that's just a thing that I have to deal with.
Yeah, you gotta play for yourself, but it's pressure. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. Like you see other people, and you feel like you're like left behind, and that's daunting. Right. But you gotta try not to focus on that. Yeah, it's
like when
hard.
I would play with you guys, I was the worst, but you know I wasn't as the worst at the time.
That can be daunting. Go ahead, Alex.
I ask because I've got buddy Jeff. Who has a solid understanding of fighting games, like way better than a casual player should. And I did play, he bought Street Fighter 4 back in the day. He played, he had fun. But I think he's comfortable with that casual experience. Like we sat and we watched the Skullgirls top 8 from whatever major it was, just a little bit of Skullgirls championships. And he enjoyed seeing it and seeing the depth and all that. But like for his personal play, he's just like chill. He doesn't need that. Oh, it's curious to me
that I've like made friends with people who are better. So like wanting to hang out, like this is the problem that I've had with World of Warcraft. Even it's like I want to hang out with you guys and have fun, but like I also feel like I'm giving them a hard time of just me being around.
Oh
like,
no,
I'm not being an additive like thing in this environment. So like in that aspect, it's a little bit harder. Like at least in fighting games, like I get my game in, I get stomped, and I move along. And that one, I'm like actively bringing down the group if I'm not doing
it's a group effort.
Yeah,
I mean, like even weaker players have their spot in fighting games. Like if you're trash, if you're what everyone assumed,
you're the lifeblood, baby.
Yeah, if you are what everyone assumed above average Tim was, just like a garbage player who plays a shitty character and comes there to have fun. He still serves a purpose, and he still did fuck Metal up. that happened. Yeah. So I don't know.
It always like in Smash, I always felt like I was like the mascot. like this is Steve. We bring him along. He's not going to get out of pools, but everybody loves him.
That's a real job. That's a real thing that you can do.
Holy shit. Oh man, that's pretty accurate. You're like the big fluffy teddy bear of Brawl.
And also I was like the giant dude that's like, if any of those weird people like mess with us, like look at Steve, like he's not gonna let anyone fuck around with us.
It was. I think my experience with getting into fighting games was different, at least from Will's perspective, because I got into Melty Blood, which has like a higher skill ceiling than Street Fighter 4. Yeah, so I goofed around in training mode, and then I discovered Melty Bread, the forum where all the combos and stuff and strats were, and so then I like spent the rest of my time just trying to figure out how to do everyone's optimal damage combo, because no one would play with me. No, eventually I got CC Caster or whatever, but like no one was physically there to play with me. So the only thing I could do was like practice tech skill. And if you've got that drive, which it sounds like you must, if the thing that drew you to Link was the Z drops, and if you're trying to play Zato for some reason, then you've got that motivation in you. So I see that you have that drive, to be competitive, or at least it feels like it to me.
Steve just needs to be fluffed, man. You just gotta fluff
I know.
him.
Will,
you just gotta fluff
it
him.
happened one time when I played Will on his stream in Street Fighter 4. Like he was just doing a stream, and I like showed up, and he was like, "Steve, play Street Fighter 4 with me." And I was like, "I'm not very good," and so like I come in and do it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not very good," and I play Abel, and like the first thing I do is like step kick, dash, or fierce punch, change of direction, and like the chat was like, says he's not very good, starts around with 1 frame length.
That's so accurate. Holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I think you just it's always been like a mindset thing for you. And
I have like these weird shining moments where because like you said, I also spend a lot of time, like I'll just watch TV for like 6 hours and do the same combo. And then like I'll be able to do it reasonably on demand. And like I'll kind of get better, but it's like every now and then I have like these weird shining moments where like I just run a game or a round or something, and whoever I'm playing with is like, "What in the fuck happened there? Like, why isn't that happening more?" And I know I've done it to Will times, like, especially like it was just like when he was playing something and I was playing Diddy and Brawl. Like I would just one round or one stock, I would just absolutely ruin him.
I think Diddy Falco, we played a couple of those for sure. And you can definitely just like do like a weird setup into a spike or something, and Falco's just fucked. He's just completely fucked.
Yep.
I think
tiny bird legs.
Yeah, tiny hollow bird bones. I think I preferred DDD just because of the fat factor. Yeah. Even though like dealing with banana sucks, it's like you're not just gonna like kill me. So I mean, but that's
and when it comes down to it, like playing against me, giving yourself more opportunities to outplay me is better than the foul, like
that's
the
why
slightly better.
That's why I like
situation.
fatties. Period. I mean, that's like I just like you're gonna show. Okay, all right, you comboed me to 80. Like, all right.
But like I've also taken games off of like fairly big names like Meta Knights just because like they weren't expecting me to know to do like the Diddy flip, grab release, footstool. To their Meta Knight.
I forgot about that. Meta Knight had. Oh, hang on. Let me give you some esoteric Brawl knowledge, Alex.
Thank you.
So Alex has some. We played Brawl one time for like a couple hours. It was very hilarious. And I showed him not all. I showed him a lot of things about Meta Knight, and he just kept being like, "Why? The best one was the when you remember you could do ledge drop, reverse up B. And then the reverse up B would auto snap immediately, and it's just like a persistent. And he was just like, "Fucking what?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I don't know." Like
it's like a weird, horrifying, disjointed, invulnerable hitbox.
Yeah, busted, man. So
who had that idea?
So Meta Knight had one of the like worst things about him that became like very meta-centric because he was Meta Knight and so over centralizing is so. You can grab release people in Smash, right? Like if you grab them and you pummel them or do nothing, they eventually pop out. And so if they weren't touching the ground because your character was tall, then they would always air release if memory serves. But then if they were short, it was like you didn't pummel, I think was how you did it. If you didn't pummel, they would air release.
For this specific thing, it was Diddy side B off the stage.
Okay, so then he would always air release because he wasn't touching, right?
He would always air release.
So Meta Knight had this really, really laggy air release. And so characters like Marth would do grab, and they would just pummel him, and Marth's tall, so he releases in the air, where Meta Knight would, I don't know why, but he had like something like twice the recovery frames on his air release than like every other character in the game for like no fucking reason. And so when you release him, he pops up and goes out, and Marth could always guarantee tipper forward smash on grab release.
Oh.
Yeah. So like you would grab him and just be like, all right, bitch. And the Meta Knight just sits there helpless. And then you're like, and just fucking kill him. So what he's talking about is something like that, where he would release, and because Meta Knight's stuck in that, and I think Diddy came out really fast out of grab release side B is probably why he had a footstool. So then what, did you just drift to him and jump? You
literally, as soon as you grabbed onto him, you would just hold left, and as soon as you saw the release animation, just start mashing jump, and on frame 1, you would just auto footstool.
Guaranteed footstool.
And then he would just die.
Zero effort. And then he would die because his footstool animation was just as long as his air release animation.
I don't know why.
So like, almost regardless of where you were in the air, you could just auto kill him if you connected with Monkey Flip. Off stage.
Yeah, dude, that was like the coolest tech ever when people found that out. Meta Knight and Wario. I forget if there's another one. Wario's is really bad too.
Wario's was bad. So Diddy, what you could do is if you like dash grabbed and pushed them off the stage when you grabbed them, it would auto air release. So if you did that with Wario, he would air release and you would get a guaranteed meteor spike off of it.
I forgot about that one.
Awesome.
You could do that with Falco to Wario. I'm remembering that. Yeah. Where you would chain grab him, you get him to 0. He's at 0. You chain grab him from 0 to 50, which takes him from any point in the stage to the edge. Then you grab release, and you get like the guaranteed late spike or whatever on him. Yeah, I forgot about that. Holy shit. Oh god, what a game. What a video game. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think we're pretty good. We're about an hour. We got some good stuff in. So this has been fun.
I hope I didn't monopolize too much time.
Oh, you're fine.
You are the guest episode, man. This was
fun. It's your prerogative. Only Will should apologize to me.
I should always apologize to everyone. Let's be real. Anyway, I have been MetalMusicMan.
I've been Professor Lex.
And Steve was Steve.
I guess I'm Steve.
You're Steve.
You seem Steve.
We will catch you guys next time.
Bye.